Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people. I just got out of the bath. My phone just went off.
Why does this always happen? Yeah.
I'm all nice and clean. My hair's a mess.
I'm fairly clean.
You're fairly clean. I'm in lounge gear. And it's a good thing I'm in lounge gear because I want to be comfy and I want to be as relaxed as possible because we're talking about Mother... Exclamation mark! And you have to say like Mother because it doesn't have a capital M. It's all lowercase. It's Mother.
So it's Mother but with an exclamation mark. So maybe it's more like Mother.
Yes. We don't know what each other's thoughts are deeply about the films we go to watch.
Thoughts.
Yeah, because we discuss it afterwards. Like we talk about we talk about our reactions, but we don't go into anything major. This isn't planned. None of these videos are planned.
No.
But I did something different today because I heard after I said on Twitter that we'd seen it, and I personally fucking loved this movie, that turns out not many people are liking it. Critics are around 60%, audience is around 40%. I just thought it was really interesting that people were looking at it in completely different ways. But then I guess that's the point of an artsy movie like this. People making like correlations between that and the Bible and stuff, and like the whole film was about the Garden of Eden being the house and Jennifer Lawrence being Mother Nature, as it were.
There's no doubt it was about some form of worship.
Yes.
That's clear. Perhaps at this point, spoiler warning would be
very big.
needed.
Very big spoiler warning.
We literally cannot talk about this film properly if we don't wreck it.
Yeah, unfortunately. You can't go into this film knowing a lot about it. I think the best way you can watch it is to go in completely blind. Yeah. There you go. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Loved?
Loved.
Yeah,
Loved
okay,
it. Yes.
alright.
Yeah.
Like, it was hard to tell during the watching process because
the thing is, it's rated 18 over here, so if you guys have seen it, it's pretty... Slow is not the word, because it's not slow.
It's tame.
Nothing that warrants an 18 happens for ages.
No.
But that doesn't mean that it's boring. It's not boring at all.
I thought it was riveting, yeah. Okay.
Because nothing had happened that warranted an 18 for so long, I was constantly like, it's going to happen.
Something's going to happen.
Something bad's going to happen.
And it's got to be something really bad because it takes a lot for a film to be an 18 in this country. We have the last 18...
I don't know the last 18 we saw.
Trainspotting 2 was the last one.
Was it?
Yeah, and I don't even think that it's because it's hard drug use. Well, it's drugs and cunts and cunts and fucks and cunts.
Drugs and cunts.
Drugs and fucks and cunts, yeah. So
is that your new album? There's some disturbing
there's
shit
some
in there.
fucked up shit in this movie.
There's stuff in there that I don't know whether it exists in a film somewhere else, but it's stuff I haven't seen. What you see is shocking in a kind of disturbing way.
It's extremely visceral. The thing that makes it work though is that it's not a torture porn film or anything like that. Actually, what I really loved as well is that it starts off with the end. Technically, it tells you what the plot twist is, and it gives away everything at the very beginning.
You're led to think, and I think we both thought the same, as did probably most people, the beginning was because of something completely different.
It initially makes you think that it's just, this is what it used to be like, but now, here is what it's like now.
Very clever.
So yeah, it reveals an actual part of the plot in what I was thinking was just showing a passage of time, like a time lapse. I thought it was just a time lapse. I loved everything in this movie. There's one thing I didn't love, unfortunately.
What was that?
The thing that really bugged me about it was that the entire first 3/5, it shows itself off and it completely takes you off guard by going down a slightly paranormally kind of Guillermo del Toro kind of ghosty, because there's like you see inside the house and it's like, has Jennifer Lawrence got psychic powers? What's going on with this? And then you have Michelle Pfeiffer coming in, and then you get wrapped up in their problems, and they all become prominent characters and they all have prominent issues, and it becomes a focus.
Yeah.
Now, what's awesome about this whole bit is that, first of all, like I said, it completely diverts from the point of the film. You think it's going to be a film about a couple living in a house who gets their entire life turned upside down by these people coming in.
Well, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought. And then it fucking backhands you around the face at that kind of 3/5 mark.
Yeah.
But the
Sorry, I've got something.
That's alright, it's alright. Yeah, it's your eyeball. But then as the ending, well, the last part kind of starts revealing what's actually going on. Yeah, the crescendo. Thank you. The crescendo starts happening.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I am useful.
You are. Yeah.
Every now and then.
Once that starts happening and everything starts piecing together in your head, it then becomes apparent that all of their conversations that they ever had at the beginning parts of the film in the build-up were relevant. There are so many moments of incredible looping around of, oh, so that's why she said that. But it works within the context of the film of these couples just being rude and fucking horrible and everything that are just intruding on this other couple's life.
Yeah.
But it also works in the deeper narrative going on. The thing that bugged me is that it kind of tug of wars with itself with that, because it does all that stuff really, really well. Problem is, though, it focuses on the characters. And I don't think it should have focused on the first couple that come into the house. They set off the events, but I think they're given a bit too much focus before the entire point of everything unravels itself.
So you think there should have been a bit less of Michelle Pfeiffer and Mr. Pfeiffer?
I think that they were awesome. I'm not saying they're meaningless, they're not, but...
I think they set the wheels in motion.
They do.
For the rest of the utter
But there's
chaos.
just so much focus on them. You're so fixated on them and their family. And then like the sons come in about the will.
Yeah.
And all this shit starts happening. And yes, in the grand scheme of things, it's symbolising everything starting to roll out of control.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's an individual, isolated event, which I wanted to care about. But then, when the point of the film rolls around, it's all fucking thrown out the window and forgotten. And I didn't like how it did that.
I do see your point. I completely understand that. It was like it was drip feeding you.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
And I think they were necessary, and I know you're saying there as well,
absolutely,
because otherwise the sons wouldn't have come, the events wouldn't have happened.
No, they wouldn't, no.
So what you mean is it after all the shit goes down, it should have maybe come back round to them a bit more, or rounded off.
Yeah, that would have been nice, I think.
Like that.
Because if you look at the trailers, if you look at the premise, the premise of this film is a couple intrudes on another couple's life and everything spirals out of control.
And I am glad that is all the trailers show.
Yeah. You can't have it ruined, no. I don't scare, you don't scare. We can watch anything at any time of the day, play horror games, we do all that shit, it's fine. I'm embarrassed to admit, I came out of the...
Don't be embarrassed.
I am embarrassed to admit.
It's fine.
Because I came out of this film shaking. Because it fucked me up.
Is that why you went to the toilet?
No, because I needed to go to the...
Because you never go for a wee in the middle of a film.
I could watch any of the Saw movies, it doesn't bother me in the slightest, because it's relentless, that's the thing. It's so over the top, it doesn't...
Well, you become numb to it.
It doesn't resonate.
Half an hour, don't you?
But with this film, it builds up this entire idea, this premise, and while you're still trying to figure out what the fuck's even going on, and then it immediately starts going ape shit after after the basically the revelation starts happening with the husband, and everything just spirals out of control from that moment onwards. It starts making sense at the same time, which is what made it so impactful in my head. And when it gets to the it's not long, but when it gets to the scenes of like Jennifer Lawrence having this kid, which is the reason that the husband had this epiphany of writing in the first place, because the film is essentially about a struggling artist.
He gets writer's block.
And his career and his life, and nothing's the same. He's lost sexual interest with his wife and everything.
Yeah.
So the second that he starts getting it again, he gets his poem right.
Yeah.
Everyone starts coming over, and
everyone
starts coming over.
Really
they start treating him like a messiah, which is already kind of strange, but then you've seen Jennifer Lawrence looking into the walls of the house and there's a beating heart in the house that she's seeing. So it's not like the strangest thing you see in the film. You just roll with it. And then all of a sudden, it's like it goes through an entire life cycle of an apocalypse inside the house. Then the baby is had, and then it turns into a kind of, okay, now the dad looks like he's going to be a murdering... The husband's going to be a murdering bastard.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So then you think it's going to go down that route. And then you think, no, it's alright. Jennifer Lawrence isn't going to let that happen. And then all of a sudden, she falls asleep.
Awful.
He takes the kid, and the kid gets killed and eaten.
There's no other way of saying it.
There's no way of saying it.
It made my blood run cold.
Yeah, same here. It actually...
It really did.
And it wasn't just that did that. It was Jennifer Lawrence going through the crowd.
Oh, God.
And so everyone's carrying the baby, and no one seems to care, and the baby's neck snaps, and then 5 seconds later it's just a pile of flesh, like it was eaten within seconds, and then everyone starts going, like I said, it cycles through an apocalypse, and then it goes through stages of depression, like every stage of depression of like this accepting death and everything. It goes through everything massively quickly, and all of a sudden she's the whore, and she didn't love them ever, and then they start fucking kicking the shit out of her. It's not because of what I was watching that was fucking me up, it was the fact that it was all building up to this. I didn't know what was actually going to happen, because there are so many scenes of, not jump scares necessarily, but
not at all.
But there are scenes where you get unexpected surprises.
Not the good kind.
Not the good kind. So you just keep expecting the next unexpected surprise. But it doesn't do, like I was saying in it doesn't do the cliched. But with this, it was a constant, never-ending steamroller of a build-up, and then it basically just unleashes all it can, which is incredibly effective. And then once you're over what you just watched, the second that Jennifer Lawrence found the lighter, then at that moment I went, oh, okay. There's a gem in the film which is shown of great importance and great significance, and it's not 100% clear what it is until basically the end wraps up everything. This struggling artist who can never find his beat, finds his beat, it's not enough. He needs more, it's not enough. The Messiah shit, it's not enough. Something like Eraserhead, right?
Oh, don't.
Eraserhead is the fear of parenthood. This is the fear of your art never being enough, your life never being enough. It turns out in the end that it pretty much was for nothing anyway, because you get everything works out, but it's still not enough. And that's why...
And it will never be enough.
And it will never be enough, and that's basically the point.
Because no mum is ever going to be okay with that happening to their kid. So it is never going to be.
Which now I can understand.
It's never going to be okay.
Which then obviously not only makes everything make sense, and it's like, oh, so the gem is the last wife of the last cycle.
And it's the love, isn't it? It's not necessarily the heart.
That's why it's Mother.
Him.
It's the film's called Mother.
Yeah.
It's the mother to not only the world around this godlike figure.
But it's like they give birth to the next chapter of the same story.
They give birth to the next chapter. There's obviously the birth of the baby and everything. The way that this film builds up this entire relationship and Jennifer Lawrence as a character, and this anxiety of all the cameras being like really into the face, it's claustrophobic, it's uncomfortable. It builds up everything so much, and you just desperately want everything to be okay.
How many times has this happened? How old is the guy?
Well, I don't know. That's the thing. Could be, I mean, he survives every single time. He doesn't seem to get destroyed every time the house gets burnt up. He just keeps on trying over and over again until he gets it right, and he can never get it right. I just looked at it as a extremely uncomfortable, Eraserhead-styled supernatural thriller. But it's all the little things as well. Like, all the supernatural stuff makes sense at that point. The bleeding in the house and everything.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like the house is
aching,
and
even
it's like...
a gem has got fire in it.
Yeah, it's like everything is a warning. It's like everything's going to go wrong. And because obviously every wife cycle doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like there's this constant lingering kind of, the house is desperately trying to say, stop.
Yeah.
This isn't right.
Yeah.
And it can't. From what I'm seeing from critics, audiences are obviously a bit more different, but with critics specifically, it seems as though nobody wanted the whole Donnie Darko, Eraserhead kind of storytelling again. I think that's really sad, because when it's right, like in this film, in my opinion, I think it's really fucking awesome.
It's spot on, yeah.
I'm going to give Mother a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a 9 as well.
9 maggots out of a rotten horse carcass.
Yeah.
Can you think why the 1 point wasn't quite there? Just that it didn't impact you as much as something like Dunkirk did?
The film was awesome, absolutely amazing. And even the baby, the horrible
the
bits,
baby, yeah.
That doesn't mean it's not good because some bits are hard to watch. I mean, that doesn't mean it's a bad film. But the last 10 I gave was... Well, the only 10 I've given was Dunkirk, and I don't feel like this is quite on the same level for me.
Yeah,
but that doesn't... I mean, it's very close. It's very close, but as we're not doing half
same
points,
here, yeah.
If we could do 9.5,
I would do 9.5 as well,
but we're not doing half, so that's... Agree or disagree, I can't give it as good a mark as I gave Dunkirk.
Well, that's fair enough. If it is your birthday today while watching this video, happy freaking birthday to you. Please remember to stay beautiful.
And we'll see you next time.
Will we?
With no sad babies.
No baby.